Hello there everybody, Nico the Shrek here with Shrekview number 7, Dragon Ball Z Supersonic Warriors. Now, this is one of my favorite not only Game Boy Advance games, but Dragon Ball Z games of all time. Why? Because, for the time, it actually had pretty decent graphics for the fact that it was on the Game Boy Advance. So, moving along with the graphics, being that that's what we just started on, the characters are actually really detailed. The environments are pretty different. Each level has its own little unique feel to it, and actually each level has this like knockout part of the stage where if you hit someone a certain way, they fly into this like extra piece of earth and like make it collapse on themselves. I thought that was a really neat detail just to have in a game that was supposed to be like nothing. But they actually did really well with this game. This game in particular had great color, actually, and had a bit of a dimension to it because of the way you moved around your enemy when you were fighting. It actually looked like you guys were circling around each other, rather than just you being back and forth on just one side. So, without further ado, we're going to move on to the audio. The audio was actually really well done. I believe, honestly, that each character had their original voice actor doing their part, because that's what it actually sounded like. I felt as though that the voices in this came almost straight from the series, or from like another video game. Each of the characters had their own like special move, and they said it out loud. I swear to you, it's like the original voice actors did those things. They at least had clips from the series, if nothing else. And that's good enough for me. Now, the gameplay mechanics, controls, and whatever have you, are pretty easy to fiddle around with, although the directional controls are a little unresponsive. I found as though that I had a hard time, I would say like 20% of the time, actually moving around, or like, I would try to go one direction, and it just completely thrusted me a completely different way. Not like the opposite way, but instead of going straight, I would go at an angle or something like that. You know, minor things like that. And on top of that, the special attacks are a little unresponsive, because you can do two different special attacks when it comes to full-powered ones. One where you're charged like a certain percent of the way, and one where you have 100% charge of energy to you. And I felt as though when you get your 100% charge, it's almost hit or miss as to whether or not you do your like ultimate special attack. So those are a little unresponsive as well. And I felt as though that it might be a little difficult for someone learning to play, or new to playing it, to kind of get a hold of. But if you're used to it, then it's not as bad, I would say. So, moving on from that, I would say that overall, this is actually a very quality fighter due to some of the dynamics that it had. On the top, you see this little bar with a dot in the middle, and you'll notice that that dot moves back and forth based on who's hitting who. Now, that is supposed to be your blocking mechanic on either side. If that dot goes too far to your side, you'll end up in this like stunted state where you can't really do anything because you block too much and you fail to counteract with any sort of hits. Now, standard hits, contacting each other, block each other out. Heavy hits, it's back and forth. I'm not sure how that works, but if somebody does one heavy hit at the same time as another person, then the bar actually moves as opposed to it just being canceled out. Now, you can block special attacks in this game, which is a pretty cool mechanic to me, but you cannot cancel special attacks out with other special attacks. There is no beam lock in this game. So, those are some of the dynamics that I wanted to touch on. All pretty cool, as well as the fact that you can warp different characters out and use that to warp around your enemy to your advantage and combo out of that. I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I'd Shrekview this, at a 4.5 out of 5 due to some of its flaws, but overall a really good game. Thank you all for watching my Shrekview number 7. Wow, we're making it big. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great night, and I will talk to you later.